Currently, businesses are building up the planet with buildings and production plants, but this has produced earth warming. In fact, the more the planet is built up, the less the earth can breathe, and this is bad for our environment and increases ozone. One day our natural resources will be finished, and we have to use renewable energy. This natural energy will change our attitude to lifestyles. Big marble buildings are not in tune with wind farms and solar panels. At the same time, natural cultures are being destroyed, but with this also being destroyed are murderous cultures who kill and maim the helpless. The world will automatically develop into a civilized, naturally energetic world, and all we need to make sure of is that our democracy stays intact. We need our police to keep terrorists at bay at all costs. I am sure that if sufficient parts of the population are dissatisfied and want a revolution, the police would be on their side, because they are one of the low-earning groups in our society. What people have to appreciate is that we no longer starve. Governments have recognized that only mass starvation makes revolutions, and instead we are being controlled in different ways. Most people feel all right as long as they have something to eat. So if anyone wants to change anything through public opinion, they must ensure that the public is behind their view. As the saying goes, love goes through the stomach and ideology goes through the mind. It's just that the mind is easier to manipulate than the stomach, because an empty stomach cannot be ignored, but a mind can always be influenced, because a brain is highly flexible to learn different attitudes and it adopts to its ideologies, especially when a mass hysteria has been created. Today's media is so busy, we are oversaturated with information and people just don't know what to believe anymore. There are false flag agitators, there's the government propaganda, we are swamped with books, films, songs, leaflets, TV programs, newspapers, magazines, letters and laws. One cannot possibly have the time to work through it all. Therefore, pressure groups and watchdogs should concentrate on filtering through information, follow any changes in the law and bring judicial reviews ASAP as soon as a new law or regulation threatens our democracy. In fact, it should be forbidden to make any law that takes away basic human rights. Nobody should have the right to kill or maim anybody else under any circumstance. It's not revolutionary, but it's reactionary and repressive. People should request equal representation in the UN and NATO, press for international minimum wages and equal rights for all citizens anywhere. As long as one country can repress its own population, they will always carry their problems elsewhere to seek help. I cannot believe for one moment that Al-Qaeda suicide bombers do this for a cause. To me, they seem to be people who suffer from clinical depression and nothing else. Like anyone wanting to kill themselves, they should receive immediate medical attention, and it should become a crime punishable by lifelong imprisonment via a war tribunal to abuse someone's depression to get them to kill others when they kill themselves. Unfortunately, those worldwide standards of care do not exist yet, but they should. We need international minimum wage, international health and safety standards to be enforceable by an international Supreme Court, guaranteed daily supply of food and water to each person. Of course, many other problems would stop, such as a peacekeeping effort, like the availability of weapons to groups of rebels, but there should be an international effort to clear weapons for personal use. An international Supreme Court should have the power to intern leaders of antisocial groups, whereby a clear definition is needed what is a good and what is a bad group. Once clear guidelines are in place about guaranteed rights of individuals, anyone who hampers those rights would be in breach of the law and capable of being interned. No group should have to say we want our freedom, we are freedom fighters. This should not be necessary, because if we set minimum standards like a minimum wage and equal rights to vote and work for each human being on the planet, regardless of where they are, we won't need freedom fighters anymore. A police force would be needed to ensure antisocial elements don't gather strength to ruin life for the community. The secret lies in the equality of everyone on the planet, and not pockets of wealth and pockets of deprivation and poverty. All countries should subscribe to minimum standards to enable the building of an international, worldwide community. within which each region may have their own religion and habits as long as they are not harmful to anyone in any way. Experience shows, however, that secular countries work best. As long as drug barons can get rich through selling drugs, they will do so, and as long as weapons manufacturers can get rich through selling weapons, they will do so. I still think the fault lies in not enough legislation of what can be manufactured and sold. And even if that legislation is in place, not enough manpower is employed to police it, but instead efforts are wasted by fighting wars which are not in the interest of international peace. As long as we have different cultures who want to dominate one another, we will have no peace. A worldwide truce needs to be established. Whilst we work towards this peace arrangement, we need stronger border controls and monitoring to make sure antisocial elements cannot damage our installations and democratic institutions. There is no way around that. Only once all countries in the world have agreed to such standards can we relax and work towards an international social standard for all countries. One thing is for sure, too many demands on any country make the government shut down and close down democracy if we are under attack from antisocial elements as well. It would be best if we could concentrate on the most important points and stick together like glue on fighting terrorists, who are just mass killers in urgent need of professional help. It's because of those terrorist attacks that our freedom is being eroded, and the logical conclusion can only be to prevent terrorist attacks whenever possible, and the police help us in that. As we said as children, the police is your friend and helper. Believe me, if we had a mass uprising, then any attacks would not be terrorist any longer, but justified actions by the masses for the masses. But such situations arise when they arise, and one should not work towards them arising. One should want to prevent the need for revolutions and not talk about them all day long. It puts people off.